Hey, Neely, quick question. As far as for this fixed assets side, I pretty much already got up to that point. I'm having trouble balancing out because for whatever reason the fixed assets it's not posting up
Uh-huh.
on.
Technical problem. It's not sticking, right? You put the
Yeah,
$1,200 or whatever it is in, and it's just not staying.
yeah.
Right.
It's showing that it's on the entire account and everything, and it's showing the net book value, but it's not showing the cost.
Right. That's a technical issue.
Okay, so I thought I was screwing something up.
Nope, you're not. I had the same problem when I did it, and they're working on it. The downside of being beta testers.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
All right, so in that case, I'm pretty much done with assignment two.
All right. Cool.
I'm actually confused with the yearly part because it's asking for number 7, and that's the accounts receivable aging report.
You were supposed to do that in part 1.
Yeah, but it's saying that like there's one yearly for let me see, let me pull that up again.
Yeah, at the end of the transactions, you should do a statement for, it's either branch college or, I guess people are doing different things. Mine says branch college.
Actually, the branch college part is confusing because you can't really tell when is the beginning.
Right, right. Just
So,
put a date in prior to October 1st or maybe even October 1st.
okay. But yeah, for assignment 2, it's saying complete warrants year-end procedure 7,
All right,
which
what's
that
that?
one is the accounts receivable aging report.
Well, you should have done the accounts receivable aging report as assignment 1. Let me see if I can figure out what you're talking about.
I mean the number 7 yearly report saying Nancy Ford presents one supplementary report as of December 31st, which serve as valuable information for management and external auditors on accounts receivable aging report.
Okay, where are you seeing this? In the project book or on Blackboard?
On the project book and the Blackboard assignment 2s. So I guess I could do a screen share and show you.
Okay.
Or
It's on page 15.
yes, page 15.
Okay, I got it now. Yeah, you did and I know you did it because we talked about branch college being more than 90 days. That was the accounts receivable aging report that you did as part of assignment 1.
Yeah, no, I was just confused that was even brought up.
It shouldn't be.
Or
That may be just an error on the assignment sheet. So let me look at that. Okay, so for number 2, it does say it should not be on there.
okay.
Oh, okay, I know why it's on there. Because it says accounts payable report only. We're not doing the accounts payable report anymore.
Ah, okay. Now that makes sense.
Okay. So this is a holdover from the manual project that they just haven't cleaned up yet.
Okay, good to go.
Okay.
All right, it says right next to it. Okay, so I guess in that case, I'm
You're
good.
done.
Yeah, I'm just going to go over my numbers again and check. But all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Can you tell it's cold in my office? I have a jacket on. It's hot outside.
I mean, shoot, the only reason why I'm not wearing jackets because I ran about 2 hours ago.
Okay, that'll keep your body temperature up for a while. I don't have time to walk or run anymore. I'm just on Zoom all the time.
Perks of online class, I guess.
Well, based on the numbers right now, it's going to be a small class.
Actually, Professor Neely, I wanted to ask one more thing.
Sure.
For transaction, what was it? Oh yeah, transaction 9. We received merchandise, and then we received the vendor's invoice on transaction 11. So the thing I'm getting confused with is recording the date, like the purchase and all the other stuff on the journals. Do I record it on the 22nd, which is transaction 11, or do I record it when we got the gear on the 20th?
When you got the invoice.
Oh, when I got the invoice? Okay.
Yeah. You need to do a receiving report for number 9. But other than that, you don't need to do anything else.
All right, we'll do. In that case, I'll just adjust this.
Okay, looks like it's 12:30. Today is kind of an informal class. I wanted to do lessons learned, kind of led by you guys. And I'm going to be taking notes on that. And so that'll be part of what I will submit to Armin Dalton. So anybody want to give me any feedback on the first week? And some of it is going to be related to Armin Dalton, and some of it's going to be related to the class itself. So any kind of feedback you want to give me. Or not.
I actually have some feedback.
Okay.
I don't know if it's possible, but a lot of the softwares that we're using for like my other classes, my accounting lab, Connect, stuff like that, they give you automatic feedback.
Right.
And I think that would be like life-changing. Because I
Okay.
know that I had an email with you so much, and I know that's taking a lot of your time. and also a lot of our time as well, because we're not always available when you're available to communicate. So that automatic feedback would
Right.
be
And I
really
know
helpful.
what the why they're not doing the automatic feedback is because, you know, there's hundreds of potential grading points, and you guys are actually getting on, graded on probably 40 of them. And so they don't want students to know what the feedback, what the grading points are. They want you to do the entire project, and then get feedback on that. And to be honest with you, I am providing all the additional feedback because I want you to succeed in this, and because we are beta testing it. And that's why I'm giving you the additional feedback. My guess is that when this gets rolled out, that professors will just say, okay, whatever grade you get is whatever grade you get. We're talking about that with the grading system, but I get what you're saying, but I don't think they want to have the grading points out there. And so that's why they're doing it this way. But it's a good, I put it down, and I will continue to talk to them about it. But until they get more grading points out there, I don't think they're going to release the actual grading points, if that makes sense.
One thing I want to mention, I don't know if it matters, but like the names of certain things, like if you put EWU instead of East Wisconsin University, does that penalize you? Like how do you, like the way you type things out?
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm giving the feedback. Because as I said, the first time I did this, I typed freight as fright, and it marked that wrong.
Yeah.
So if I see just a simple typo, I'm telling you what the typo is. If it's something more elaborate that you don't understand a process, then I'm trying to point you in the right direction. But if it's just a typo, I'm trying to tell you that it's a typo.
Okay.
I think they're trying to work with that, but there's only so much they can do with typos.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
I guess the only thing I was thinking is there's, like I was telling you before, Dr. Neely, some of the forms, I guess just for practice, it'd make more sense if we actually were able to fill them out further instead of, like, for instance, with the accounts receivable monthly statement, some people had Branch College and we just didn't really have to fill it out.
Information.
Yeah, I'd rather just give us the information so we could practice filling out those forms more completely.
All right. And I know that's also a problem with the receiving reports. There's not a lot of information given.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good feedback. All right. Anything else?
I did have something else that I'd like to add.
Okay.
Because you did say that the reason that they're not giving feedback is also because they kind of, maybe they're giving us enough information where we shouldn't have to have feedback. But if that's the case, then I think that the like assignment instructions should be a little more clear, because it says on the assignment that we're supposed to do year-end procedures and month-end procedures for assignment 1, but then we didn't actually have to do that. And then for the 7-step process, it's just like I just thought that none of it was really all that clear to me.
So what you're saying is the instructions still look like they're for the manual project, and they should be updated for the ESUA. Because as you note, you don't have to total the journals. They're already totaled for you. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and yep, exactly. Like I read multiple pages of year-end and month-end procedures and went through all of that, and I didn't even have to do that. So that was really confusing. And frustrating as well.
Okay. All right. Good feedback, guys. Good feedback. All right. Most of the people who are in class today are the ones that really have pretty much completed it, and I've talked to a lot of you during the week, so maybe what I'm planning here is going to be not necessary, but I thought what I'd do is I'd show you my completed payroll, not payroll journal, the cash receipts journal and the sales journal, so you can just kind of like eyeball it all and make sure, because again, although some of the things that didn't get graded now will be graded later, you want to make sure you're 100% correct on your, particularly on your journals. So there should have been three, what am I in? I'm in the sales journal. There were 3 sales. There was the initial Rosemont College, and then there was the back ordered Rosemont College, and then there was a sale, cash sale. No, then there was the credit memo to Eastern Wisconsin. Okay, so the first 2 are pretty straightforward. We've got a debit to accounts receivable and a credit to sales, which is your standard sales journal entry. Debit to accounts receivable, credit to sales. For Eastern Wisconsin, we've got a debit to sales returns and then a credit. They've actually added a new column in here for accounts receivable credit. Okay, so that's the only one that looks a little different. Does anybody have any questions on this? Does it look like yours? We have all of the account numbers because these are sales on account. Okay.
I actually have one question.
Sure.
First, for the invoice part, isn't that supposed to be the invoice that the return is coming from? Or is it just we use the invoice from the documents for the last transaction to return?
Is credit memo number 42?
Oh, so that's what we're supposed to put in. Okay, good to go.
Okay. All right, good question. All right, anybody else? Are we okay with this? It looks pretty much like yours. All right, now let's take a look at the cash receipts journal.
Wait, Professor, can you go back real quick? I
Sure.
didn't see that CM42.
Okay. Right here in the invoice column, instead of having an invoice number for the return, we have a credit memo number.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And is 42 just the regular number for it, or?
You might have a different number if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, because I just had the account number. I didn't see where the credit memo came in.
You didn't see what?
Yeah, I just had their account number for Eastern Wisconsin. I had the 729, not the credit memo 42. That's where I guess I'm just confused at. I didn't know we were supposed to put that in there.
Okay. Well, essentially the credit memo is a negative sale on account. Okay, it's reducing accounts receivable. So if you put something in here, then you want to make sure that you have a debit and a credit.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not sure
I
what
have
your question
that.
is. You have
I
that. So what are you missing?
How come it's credit memo number 42 and not their account number
Oh, their account
or
number
the
is
invoice?
410. This first column is for either the invoice number or the credit memo number. And their account
Okay.
number is right here.
And then
Oh, I put the invoice actual number, like it's this invoice number 729, not credit memo.
Okay, and that's what Sylvester was just talking about too.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is for a credit memo. And actually it's nice to put the credit memo number in there because you see that it does look different. And so if you put an invoice in there and you see stuff in different columns, you think, well, maybe I misposted it.
And
Okay,
then-
so it's
Okay.
nice to have the credit memo number in there.
Dr. Neely, real quick too.
Sure.
The date, December 27th, is that supposed to be the 23rd?
Could be. That could be a typo on my part. Yes.
But I also, just like Sylvester, and I put the invoice number, not the credit memo.
Okay.
So I just
But
changed
does it
that.
make sense now that you're
Yeah, and
looking at-
it's helpful too to know what that is more specifically.
Okay. And that's why I'm going through this. because you guys have now had, unlike last class where we were drinking from a fire hose, you guys have had a chance to mess with all this stuff now, and you understand more. And so what I'm trying to do is just show you the journals and make sure that you've got everything posted properly. Because again, this is going to make a difference down the road. Okay, if you have the wrong account amount in a column and you post it to the general ledger, you're going to have a real problem. Okay, so now are we ready to move on to the cash receipts journal? Okay, so cash receipts, we had several of those. We had the original cash receipt from Branch College, and that caused everybody a headache because they submitted $1622.88 in full payment. And if you went out to the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger, you found that the invoice was actually for $1656. And so you want to record in the cash column the amount that was actually deposited, but you want to record in the accounts receivable column the full amount of the invoice, because the difference is their sales discount, which most of you now know, and they were entitled to that sales discount. And so you don't want to show $1622.88 in their accounts receivable. You want to show the full amount of the invoice because it has in fact been paid in full. And then of course,
are we supposed to have these boxes checked like you do too?
Actually, I'm missing a number here. Yeah, you should have the boxes checked where you posted it to the subsidiary ledger.
I did. Sorry, you mentioned things to talk about in terms of the system earlier, and I posted some things, and no matter what I do, some of the boxes won't stay checked. I don't know why.
Okay, technical difficulty. I'm going to write that one down on my sheet here. Boxes not staying checked.
If you need more details on it, I know that it's exactly 2 on one sheet because I've tried to check them like every time.
Okay. If you could send me a screenshot of it. I'm actually communicating right now with Armin Dalton. They're going into my account and trying to see if we can figure out what's going on, because the auto grading and some of these technical things are just driving us all nuts. Okay. Now, somebody tell me what is the account number for, is it Branch? Yeah, that gave us a payment here. This scrolling thing drives me nuts too.
The account number?
Yeah, it's 408.
Yeah, it's 408. Yeah.
Okay. Because I am missing that on here.
Should we be adding this stuff to ours too, or?
Yes, yours should look more or less like mine. You might, as I said, you might have some different numbers, but basically you should have for the first receipt, you should have the amount of cash that was received, the sales discount that was received, the customer number, and the amount of the invoice. For First American Bank, we put $90,000 in the bank. This is one of the auto grading things that's been really a headache. If you've got 21100 as the account, then that is correct. It's marking it as incorrect, so it may be reducing your grade. I'm going in and manually checking the grades, by the way. So what you're seeing in the system, if you've got like either 90.48 or for many people an 81 point something, then you've probably got 100%, and I will verify that, okay? Then we've got the partial payment from Eastern Wisconsin, where we got $12,000 cash, that goes in the cash column, and $12,000 payment down on accounts receivable. And this was one that messed up a lot of people. The Hawkins College, the cash sale, people were putting it in the accounts receivable column. It should be under sales because it's a cash sale. Okay, so when you're all finished, this was part of assignment 1, you needed to post these numbers. So the 132,677.36 should be posted to the general ledger. So I go to account number 10200. I think, or that was cash. I wanted to do cash. So I wanted to have my 132,677.36 here in my cash account. Okay, and so when you're posting to the general ledger, you're going to put where it came from and the amount, whether it's a debit or a credit. And so you should have done that for the sales journal. You have 4, 1 debit, 2 debit, 1 credit, 2 credits, and the accounts are up here: 10200, 30200, 30100, and 10200. If you haven't done that yet, be sure to do it. It doesn't look like many of these have been graded yet. Many of these have been not grading points, but they will be vital for moving down the road. So make sure you're posting to the general ledger. And then the same thing with the cash receipts journal.
What dates do we use for those? Like I did not know we were supposed to do any of this, so this is all new to me.
Right. Well, this was number 1 of the month-end transactions that I directed you to do, but I don't think everybody understood it, which is why I'm going through it now. For the cash receipts journal, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 totals here, and then we've got a column with 90,825 that doesn't have a checkbox under it. And the reason for that is because these are the other accounts. So you would credit 31,200 and credit 21,100. You have to do those separately.
I don't know if this has already been mentioned, but for month and year end, what date do you want us to use? Is it the 30th, the 31st?
31st.
31st? Okay.
12/31. Yep. All right, let's take a quick look at the accounts receivable ledger. Okay, and Rosemont had a lot of activity. They had invoice 731 and invoice 732. Claiborne didn't have any activity. Branch College had an ACH payment, and this is what I was just talking about, the fact that we want to reduce their account by the full amount that they paid. They still have a balance due of $1,200, but they get credit for the full amount of the invoice, even though they only submitted $1,622. And then Eastern Wisconsin, we had a partial payment from Eastern Wisconsin of $12,000, so that reduced their accounts receivable. And then Stevenson College, we had the write-off of the bad debt, so that should now be 0. And speaking of that, I'm going to pull up the general journal. And so right here, I don't know why I didn't put the accounts in here. No, I don't want to delete it. No, I want to edit it. Okay, and again, just as an aside, anytime that you have any kind of a journal entry, either in a special journal or in the general journal, that affects accounts receivable or accounts payable, then you know you have to go to those subsidiary ledgers. So this week we're doing PNCD, purchases and cash disbursements. So anytime you go into the purchases journal and you have something affecting accounts payable, then you know you need to go to the subsidiary account. Okay? What else? All right, so, and I already showed you the general ledger. Accounts receivable aging report, that's something you should be doing. Basically, on that, you want to take and you want to determine And if you haven't done it, I'm kind of giving you a big heads up here. Branch colleges amount, if you go back to their subsidiary ledger, you see that on October 7th, they had a balance of 1,200. On October 1st, they had a balance of 46,551 with a payment on October 7th of 45,351. So that 1,200 is obviously prior to October 1st. That's how we know that that 1,200 is over 90 days. Okay, and I think that the other one that has a past due balance, which was the other
Professor,
one?
were we supposed to know to do this? Because I'm literally so lost right now because I didn't read anything about the aging anything.
Okay, I will show you where it is. Oops, page 13. Okay, so I think I told you to do 1, 2, 4. The
It's page
aging
15.
is number,
Page 15, number 7.
page 15, number 7. Isn't it also? Oh yeah, right, 15, number 7. There it is. Nancy Ford prepares one supplementary report as of December 31st, which will serve as valuable information for management and the external auditors, an accounts receivable aging report. Okay, so if you go to the assignment, I think I should be still in the same window, so you should be able to see this. Where is accounting software? And part of the reason I did this, I had this as a downloadable file and nobody was seeing it. And I sent out an email on this, but I put the assignment right here. So this is this week's assignment. So in addition to doing all of the transactions, you were supposed to do the month-end procedures 1, 4, 5, and 6 on pages 12 and 13. And you were supposed to do page 7, the accounts receivable aging report. Now, Sylvester just picked up on this because he's a whole week ahead. But on number 2, you don't need to do any year-end procedures for number 2. Okay, so you can cross that out. There is no accounts payable report anymore. Okay, and I will update that in here. But you still need to do all the transactions for P and CD and 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, and 5 on pages 12 and 13 for the purchases and cash disbursements. Okay, so yes, you were supposed to know to do it, and that's why I sent out the email, but I know that it's overwhelming. And again, that's part of the reason, now that you're into it, now you know to do it. Okay, none of these things that I'm telling you right now, except for the Nancy Ford reconciliation, go away, come on. Page 13. This is the only one that was graded today, is the Nancy Ford reviews the balances of each subsidiary for the accounts receivable, accounts payable, employee earnings, and fixed assets, except we're only doing accounts receivable. And she initials the general ledger control account to indicate that she has made the comparison. That was the only one that got graded this week. Everything else that I've just talked about is actually going to get graded in a later assignment. Okay, anything else you want to see? Did that help? Or were all of you just so far ahead that that it didn't help at all?
Can you go over the general ledger one more time?
So the general ledger, you always want to start from the journal. Okay, so for instance, the sales journal, the first column here is accounts receivable. My total on accounts receivable is $54,279. So I take that $54,279, I copy it, and then I go to my general ledger. and I go to 10200 and I post it as a debit to the accounts receivable general ledger account. This is how you get the numbers from the journals into the general ledger, is by posting.
Can you do another one, please? I'm lost, so I need it.
Okay. That's not what I want. All right, so the second column is sales returns, GL number 30200. Okay, and the amount in GL 30200 that needs to be posted is 4550, and it is a debit. We see that it's a debit above that column. Okay, so we go back to the general ledger and we go to 30200, and on December 31st, from the sales journal, we post 4550. Okay, so there'll be 4 postings from the sales journal, and there's about 7 or 8 from the cash receipts journal. Okay, we do not post from the subsidiary ledgers. Those are not journal entries. Subsidiary ledgers are just the detail associated with a specific general ledger account. And you'll notice once everything is posted, let me go back here to my accounts receivable subsidiary ledger. Once everything is posted to the general ledger, so I have a balance per GL of 45,752. I have per this accounts receivable subsidiary ledger 1, 2, 3. These 3 add up to 45,752. So my detail, my subsidiary ledger, agrees with the general ledger account. Okay, so the difference is 0, and then you approve it. I think it's Nancy Ford, but I'm not sure. You will want to check that one.
So are we posting things from the sales journal and the cash receipts journal onto the general ledger?
Yes, and then next week, or this week, I guess, you will post from the purchases journal and the cash disbursements journal. So when you finish doing all your transactions, part of the month-end procedures is to post from, and let me just go ahead and open that up, so you can see where I found that. Jim Adams posts the column totals and individual transactions in other columns to the appropriate general ledger account and updates each general ledger account balance. He places a posting reference check mark under each column total, and that's actually done for you, in the totals, in the journals, and by each of the individual transactions in the other columns to show that the numbers have been posted. That is the first of the month-end transactions that you will do. When you finish all the P and CD transactions, then you'll go here and you will post them. Okay, we're not doing the bank reconciliation yet. That's done at the end of the year.
Can you look at the aging report one more time?
Okay,
So for branch college, do you post under the?
I missed that. What was that?
Like, so for branch college, is it under cash and sales, or under cash and accounts receivable that you post it for the general ledger?
Oh, you're talking about in the general journal?
No, the cash receipts journal.
So, and this came from chapter 3, these accounts here, allowance for bad debt and accounts receivable came from chapter 3. It told you precisely how to do the journal entry for the write-off in chapter 3 of the reference book. Okay, and so yes, you would debit 10300 and credit accounts receivable. Because we have a credit to accounts receivable, that tells us that we need to post to this receivables subsidiary ledger.
I was talking about the general ledger.
Okay, what about the general ledger?
So how branch college has 2 different amounts on the cash receipts journal, do we post those each in their own category on the general ledger? There's like the one.
We're not gonna post these individually. We're gonna post the totals. So Branch
Okay.
College, just because it has these different amounts, we can ignore that. We have totals down here. This is what we post to the general ledger,
Okay.
okay? What other questions do we have?
Can you look at the aging report one more time?
Yeah, what are you doing? Just writing down the numbers?
I have different numbers. I just want to look at what you're doing.
All right, well, with the aging, I'm actually gonna show you the, basically what you need to do is you need to look, no, that's not what I want. You need, these three each have a balance, right? Rosemont, Branch College, and Eastern Wisconsin. Okay, so we need to look at Rosemont. Are they all current? At the end, at December 8th, they had a zero balance. So yes, they are current. They owe $19,325, but it's current. Branch College, we just discussed. I gave you the big hint on that. It's over 90 days. And then Eastern Wisconsin, you need to analyze this, okay? So on December 8th, we had a balance of $41,777. Well, actually, we need to go back here to November 14th. At the beginning of the month period, we had a zero balance. And then we had an invoice for $24,905, but they only paid $5,000 on it. So some of this invoice is going to be older than current, right? Okay. And then they had another invoice for $21,872. And they got $45.50 in credit, and they got a partial payment of $12,000. So they owe on this invoice and they owe on this invoice. Some of it's old, some of it's current. Okay? So that's how you fill out the columns.
Will you show
So-
your general ledger again, please?
The general ledger? Okay.
Can you go to 101, 10100? I just want to see your descriptions. I don't know what I should put.
Oh, there is no description.
Oh,
It's just the
okay.
date. It's just the date. With some of them later on, we're going to have net wages and salary and bank service charge, but you're just going to put the journal.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. What else? All right. So this week I have I think 8 Zoom sessions set up now. I will send out an email letting everybody know when the Zoom sessions are. If you find that you absolutely cannot make your group's meeting time that week and you need to drop into another one, you can. Each of the groups is 3 to 4 people, and some of them only have 2 people participating, so I can definitely take more people in each session. Do not wait until 10 o'clock on Monday night to ask for one-on-one help. It's just, I have an 8 o'clock class on Tuesday mornings or Thursday mornings and Tuesday mornings, I guess. And I can't be helping you one-on-one just a few hours before the project is due. Okay, I am going to, when I finish talking to everybody from Arm Dalton, I will get everybody's grades adjusted, and I will put in Blackboard your actual grade for this first project. There are 4 assignments altogether. P&CD is very similar to SNCR, so you shouldn't have, they're working to make sure that the grading points are all okay for P&CD before next week. And then the 3rd assignment is payroll and some month-end stuff. And then the 4th assignment is another one that's really going to be hairy. And so we'll talk a lot about the 4th assignment before you actually do it.
Professor,
What's that?
are you gonna have multiple submissions for the Dropbox that you could put up, because I just had to edit all my stuff, so now I have to resubmit it.
Okay. Yeah, I can set it up for multiple submissions. Yes, that's fine. Okay.
So assignment 2 is the P and D, right?
Yes, assignment 2 is P and CD. Going back to, where's my, here we go. Assignment 2 is study purchases and cash disbursements flowcharts on pages 22 and 23. Complete the 7-step process, and you might not realize it, but you're actually completing the 7-step process every time you do a transaction. On pages 11 and 12 for purchases and cash disbursements, you do not need to do payroll. We'll do payroll next week, and then do the month-end procedures 1, 4, and 5. Okay, 1 is posting. Not sure what 4 and 5 are, but we can find out. Four is that, and there are no journal entries. I will tell you that in advance for P and CD. And 5, you don't have to do anything with 5 either. So for P and CD should be relatively easy for you. You have the flow now. I think you understand what you're doing. This assignment probably shouldn't take you more than 3 hours, maybe at the most. How many of you, well, you don't have to answer this. I know that I was going from 10 to 20 hours a week for last week. Did anybody spend more than 10 hours on this project? Yeah, maybe.
What it felt like.
All right. I'm hopeful that this week will be a lot easier for you. I know that the first week is really hairy. And that's one of the reasons why I do it the very first week, because you shouldn't have too much to do with your other classes. And so we ease back a little bit. And then, as I said, 3 is not bad at all. I think I did 3 in under an hour. It'll probably take you a little bit longer than that, but it shouldn't be too bad. And then 4, you can estimate 5 or 6 hours for assignment 4. And then we move into QuickBooks. Okay?
I have a question.
Sure.
So so say you didn't do so well on assignment 1 because of, like, you didn't understand it very well. How will it affect your grade?
Well, the entire assignment, all 4 assignments altogether, is worth 300. So the first one is worth 75 points essentially. So it's 1/4 of your grade. Okay. What I would recommend, in fact, I may actually make the first assignment worth a little bit less, because if you don't get it fixed at this point, then it's going to affect assignment 4. So maybe what I'll do is I'll make the first assignment worth 50 points out of the 300, and then spread out the remaining 250 points over the next 3 assignments, because now you've got more of a handle on it. But you do need to fix everything. Okay, does that make sense?
So will you give us time to fix it, or?
Yeah, you need to, I'm not going to regrade assignment 1. Whatever you get, I will take it out of, it'll be out of 50 points, not out of 100 points. Okay, so it'll be 50 points of your 300 will be assignment 1. Whatever you got, the deadline is passed, but you still need to fix it, because moving forward, you're going to need to have it right.
When putting stuff into the general ledger, it's Nancy Ford is the one that initials everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, and again, many of you think you did very poorly, but when I go in and I find all the system grading errors, and that's why I asked you to upload the back documents, the journals and stuff like that, so I can look at them. If you've got them right in there, well, if you got them right in there at the original part, then I will give you credit for it. I'm not going to give credit for the changes we made during class, because I told you how to do things during class. Okay.
Did you want us making an Excel file for these?
You can just do a screenshot. I don't want you to have to do a lot of work. Huh?
For the Dropbox?
Yeah, you can just do a screenshot. Yeah, if
Oh,
you do
okay,
an Excel file, that'll take forever.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Just do a screenshot. Okay? All right, well, that's all I had planned today, because again, you have work to do, and I will send out an email with the Zoom times. So if you need extra help, then you can come in. Some of the groups are really effective. Some of the groups are less effective. So if you've got an effective group, working with your group members is a really good thing. Any last minute questions, huh?
So I noticed that this class was being recorded.
Yes.
Are you going to post it?
I will try to post it. It is being recorded, but the postings have been too big and I haven't been able to put them up. So I may have to edit it and then I can post it.
Okay, because I actually found this class to be really helpful with understanding everything. So to be able to go back and rewatch the class could
Okay.
help for me in the future.
All right. I will try to do that then. It's at 45 minutes now. I had an hour and 15-minute class for cost accounting and it just never uploaded. So this one may be small enough so I can actually do that.
I have a professor who he does his lectures he uploads them on YouTube because it lets you do a larger file.
Oh, okay.
And I did just want to say, like, if you can post it, that'd be fantastic. One of my group mates isn't able to do this come to this class because of a conflict.
Okay.
And she would really like to be able to see these.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's why I'm recording it.
Yep.
All right. All right.
Professor, I have one more question.
Sure.
On the sales journal, are we also inputting the bottom numbers into the general ledger? Like the 54,134?
You're only entering the bottom numbers.
Yes. Yep.
Not the other ones. So you said also.
I was like also because we're also doing the cash receipts journal and we're also doing the bottom ones. That's what I was trying to refer to.
Oh, yes. On the cash receipts journal, same thing, except that in the cash receipts journal, you also have the other column. And so those two need to be done separately.
What do you mean done separately?
You need to go to 30. There is no
Oh,
account
I
number.
see. I see it's other. I see. Okay.
Okay. But the other four will be posted in total.
And that note payable, that's the one I can't get to check.
Okay.
I sent you an email.
Don't worry about it because that's the one that they're having trouble with the auto grading too. So not to worry. All right, I'm going to put that though in my notes. Okay. Anything else?
Professor Pham, this is that possible if I talk with you after this class?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Or maybe after everybody leave,
Sure.
maybe I should just talk with you. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, then that's all I had planned for today. And I'm going to stop the recording, I think, if I can.